discover the incredible truth. How I witnessed my daughter's life-changing wedding in secret. Greg stood at the rusty factory gates, tired and worn, yet his heart beat with a pulse of pride. Every long hour at work was a sacrifice for the well-being of his only daughter, Emily. Maplewood, with its summer fairs and softly twinkling street lamps, seemed a world away as he faced the reality of her impending wedding. She was about to step into a new life, yet Greg felt a heavy weight on his chest, doubt, anxiety, and an all-consuming fear. Could he truly give her the ceremony she dreamt of? Just weeks before, Emily burst into their small kitchen, eyes shining brightly. "Dad, I found the perfect wedding venue." Her excitement rang through the walls, filling their humble home with a warmth that momentarily chased away the chill of financial stress. But that joy quickly faded as she painted a picture filled with extravagant details: flowers, expensive linens, a caterer that Greg cringed at just hearing the price of. It was the talk of a fairy tale, and Greg, a simple factory worker, felt like he was drowning in the depth of her dreams. Had tea, they shared quiet moments recounting their future. Clearing the table after dinner, they casually spoke of love, happiness, and the simple things. But the vision in Emily's eyes didn't just feel impractical. It felt unattainable. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now, let's continue. As the wedding day approached, an unexpected shadow loomed. Emily's estranged mother, Lisa, had re-entered their lives with the grace of a whirlwind. Greg watched as old scars reopened, the emotional manipulation cutting deeper than he anticipated. "You're going to let me help with the planning, right?" Lisa's eyes glinted, sharp and calculating. Greg's heart raced, fearing her chaotic influence would overshadow what was supposed to be a joyous occasion. On the eve of the wedding, standing outside the ornate venue, Greg felt utterly helpless. The air buzzed with laughter and chatter, but all he heard was the crushing silence of his empty pockets. He wanted to be in the inside, to take part in the celebration, yet his mind spiraled with doubt. Could he face her wearing that beautiful gown, knowing he couldn't contribute as he wished? Through the bustling crowd, he caught sight of Emily. Radiant in her dress, she shone like a beacon. But her happiness clashed with Greg's longing, a father's love enveloped in pain. Was this truly how a father should witness his daughter's big day? Collapse on the edges of her greatest moment? Bit by bit, heart pounding, he edged closer to the doorway. When he finally found Emily alone in a quiet hallway, he felt the gravity of everything they had been through. He took a deep breath, his voice a whisper. "Is this really what you want, Emily?" Their eyes met, and in that moment, the world around them faded. The echoes of laughter mixed with the deep, untouched themes of love, resilience, and the fear of growth enveloped them both. With suppressed emotion clenched in their throats, they stood on the precipice of something unspoken. Could they navigate the chaos together? Or would this ceremony define them in ways they never intended? Emily's eyes shimmered with tears that clung to the corners, poised to spill over. "It's all I've ever wanted, Dad," she whispered, her voice laced with uncertainty. The moment stretched between them, laden with unsaid promises and shared dreams. Greg's heart ached. He reached out, brushing a stray curl behind her ear. At that moment, she seemed fragile, like glass that might shatter under the weight of expectation. But does it have to be this way? He pressed gently, genuinely seeking a way through. She took a breath, her chest rising and falling as she weighed her answer. "I just want to be happy. I want you to be proud of me." The weight of those words hung in the air, echoing all the fears Greg hadn't voiced. Proud. The word resonated like a bell in his heart. He wanted nothing more than for her to feel joy, but pride mixed with anguish. How could he be proud when his love felt overshadowed by what he could not provide. Suddenly, laughter erupted from the party within the hall, slicing through their intimate moment. People were celebrating, savoring the love that Emily was supposed to embrace, the chapter she was about to begin. And yet, here they stood, trapped in a cycle of worry and expectation. "Emily," Greg said, dropping his voice, "weddings are meant to celebrate love, not the show around it. You know that, right? Hasn't that been our truth?" He could see her wrestling with the idea. Life hadn't always been easy for them, but their small victories, the dinners they shared, the stories exchanged, and the dreams built in quiet moments had been rich with meaning. Why must love be wrapped in extravagance? As the music swelled, they fell back into silence. The decision should be hers to make, but doubt lingered like a thick fog. Would she still choose the same wedding if it meant simpler, more genuine joy? As if reading her mind, Greg added softly, "I'm not going to let anyone ruin this day for you, least of all your mother." A shadow flickered across Emily's face. "Dad, she wants to be part of this. Maybe it'll be good for everyone," she murmured. You could see the mention of Lisa. A tightness gripped Greg's throat. "Is it really worth it?" His voice broke, and he detested the weakness creeping in. "You deserve more than just someone pretending to care." Emily's gaze faltered under the weight of his words. "But if I put my foot down, what will happen?" She just wants to. Greg interrupted. "It's your life, Emily. What do you want?" And in that charged moment, time seemed to halt. Emily looked at him with understanding, like she'd been waiting for someone to say it. The chaos and beauty of love wouldn't be dictated by anyone but them. Tears finally fell from her eyes. "I want to just be happy, and I want us to be okay." Greg stepped forward, hugging her tightly against him. The sound of laughter and clinking glasses faded, leaving just the two of them amidst the unraveling thread of a complicated family. In the hushed tenderness of their embrace, Greg felt a flicker of hope. Could they forge a new way forward, redefine the ceremony into something that felt true to them? But the approaching footsteps of guests jolted them back, a reminder of the world waiting beyond the doorway. "No more doubt, only love," he whispered, an affirmation that spilled out through the bond they shared. Emily nodded, confidence glimmering in her eyes as she pulled back. Their moment was a step toward confrontation, strength woven into the fragile seams of their relationship. And just as they prepared to face the crowd, Greg felt the familiar sense of dread creep back. Outside the door, Lisa's laughter rang out like a thunderclap. Could this be the moment that changed everything? Would they finally set boundaries? Or would the weight of expectation unravel their resolve? "Let us go," Greg said, taking her hand tightly. Whatever happened next, they would face it together. As they stepped out into the light, the air thickened with possibility. What would this impending celebration become? Would they uphold their truth, or would Lisa's want to eclipse their newfound resolve? The moment hung heavily, promising fireworks that could either illuminate or explode. The double doors swung open, and a wave of noise spilled out, voices mingling, laughter ringing like chimes. The moment they stepped into the hall, the lights splashed over them, blinding but warm. At first, Greg felt a rush of exhilaration, mingled with sharp terror. "Just remember what we talked about," he whispered to Emily, his grip lingering on her hand. She met his gaze, eyes wide yet resolute. This was her moment, but it was also theirs, a crossroad that could change everything. As they walked through the throng, familiar faces emerged. Friends, relatives, all smiling and beaming with joy. The sight tugged at Greg's heart. He wanted to merge into this sea of happiness, but felt a riptide of conflict. The laughter seemed to mock the tension they had just shared, a private battle now exposed to the world. "Emily, there you are." Lisa's voice sliced through the crowd, a sweet honey tinted with urgency. Greg's stomach twisted at the sound. He turned just in time to see her gliding toward them, her shimmering dress flowing like a wave. "Hi, Mom," Emily replied, her voice steadier than she felt. "Oh, I've been looking everywhere for you," Lisa exclaimed, wrapping her arms around Emily in a tight embrace. Greg watched as Emily's smile flickered, the warmth of the moment clashing with the weight of unspoken truths. The embrace loosened, but Lisa's attention was now glued to Greg. "You made it. Would team miss it for the world?" he said, forcing a smile. "Oh, it's just perfect, darling." Lisa took Emily's hand, inspecting her like an artist critiquing their work. "I can't believe how lovely everything looks. They've done such a splendid job." A wave of impatience washed over Greg. "Did you ask her what she really thinks?" he blurted out. The words stumbled into the air, a stark contrast to the sparkle of the evening. Suddenly, the smiles faltered, and heads turned to them. Curiosity mingling with concern, Emily's eyes widened, mortification mixed with urgency, but Greg lifted his chin. The mood had shifted, but not in the way he expected. "Mom, Emily began, her voice trembling with the pressure of the moment. "I don't understand," Lisa replied, her brows knitting together. Pride, confusion, it all hung in the air like a heavy blanket. "What do you mean?" "I want this wedding to mean something," Emily finally said. "Maybe I want it to be more than just a show. It should be about love." Greg felt a surge of pride and hope. It was what he had wished for, that first flicker igniting into a blaze. Lisa opened her mouth, but no words came. Greg seized the moment. "Let us strip away what everyone expects. It's not just about the flowers or the dress. It's about what you want, Emily." The crowd listened as a hush fell over them. Another world had opened, a conversation woven through the midst of celebration. Emily's face flushed, but now there was determination shining in her eyes. Yet Lisa remained silent, uncertainty painted on her features. Would she yield to the honesty radiating from Emily, or cling to her dreams of perfection? "I just want to be happy," Emily continued, her voice rising with every word she spoke. "I want a day that feels true to me, surrounded by people who care, not a spectacle that makes everyone else happy." A stir rippled through the gathered audience. Sensing the shift, Greg felt a swell of protection and love for his daughter. And for the moment, the truth felt like a shield. But before he could breathe a sigh of relief, Lisa's eyes darkened. "And what about me?" she finally asked, her voice cutting through the tension with a fragility that betrayed years of unyielding resolve. "What about what I want for my daughter's wedding?" The crowd held its breath, waiting for Emily's response. What would she say now? Would the heart of the celebration crack? Or could they finally build a foundation of honesty that would lead them into a new beginning? Each heartbeat echoed with possibility. Every face turned toward Emily, the weight of the moment pressing down like a leaden cloud. "Emily," Greg whispered, every nerve in his body taut with anticipation. Would her answer be the key to unlocking their future, or the shattering blow they feared? Emily's heart raced as she stood there, the eyes of family and friends boring into her. Each face held an expectation, her mother's hope, her friend's enthusiasm, the curiosity of strangers. A swell of emotions tugged at her. She felt the warmth of love and the weight of responsibility, and it was both beautiful and overwhelming. "Mom," she said, looking into Lisa's eyes with more courage than she felt, "I want to celebrate our love, not just a tradition. You know I care about you, but I need this to feel real." A rippling silence followed her words, painted with tension like a canvas ready to burst into color. Greg held his breath, hoping Lisa would see the sincerity in Emily's plea. Lisa's expression faltered, softness breaking through the hard edges of her initial disappointment. "But I've planned this for so long. Isn't that what weddings are for? And what about during and after the wedding?" Greg interjected, stepping forward. "It's not just about the day. It's the years that follow your marriage should reflect who you both are, not just the dreams of a mother." A murmur ran through the crowd. Some nodded, embracing the idea of authenticity, while others remained resistant, clinging to familiar traditions. Emily felt both the warmth of support and the chill of doubt in the air around her. "Think about it, Mom. What was your wedding like?" Emily continued, her voice steady but tender. "Was it everything you dreamed of, or were there moments you wish you could change?" Lisa's face softened further, a hint of nostalgia flickering in her eyes, and for a frightful moment, Emily thought the moment might slip away. Weddings are meant to celebrate love, Emily added, feeling her confidence surging. Not just customs. It's about finding joy in who we are. The silence grew heavier, a palpable mixture of fear and hope. Emily could feel Greg's supporting presence a few steps away, solid and reassuring. I want my wedding to be a reflection of us, Emily said, determination fueling her words. All I ask is for your support and understanding. Lisa looked deep into Emily's eyes, as if searching for the daughter she raised and the woman standing before her now. A breath hung suspended in the air, both tender and sharp. Then, slowly, a smile broke through Lisa's uncertainty. I just want you to be happy, but, Emily pressed, heart pounding in her chest, desperation creeping back. And I guess I want to be part of it too. Emily's heart swelled. You can be, just in a way that lifts me up instead of keeping me in the box you built. Tears sparkled in Lisa's eyes. They shared a moment, both vulnerable and raw, the kind of honesty that could glue their relationship back together. As the crowd began to murmur, some clapping lightly in support, Greg felt a wave of pride wash over him. This was how love should feel: messy, complicated, yet fundamentally right. But before they could find a rhythm to celebrate this new understanding, a voice rose from the back of the hall, cutting through the moment like a knife. What's going on here? A concerned family friend was stepping forward, eyes flashing with indignation. Greg's heart sank. It wasn't tea over yet. How would they respond now to the pushback? Would it destroy the fragile conversation they had just built? Or could they pivot and hold on to the moment? Emily, he whispered, feeling the uncertainty prickling his skin. What would she say next? Would this be their breakthrough or a painful setback? Emily felt her breath catch as her eyes locked onto the face of Mrs. Patterson, a family friend known for her sharp tongue and rigid views on tradition. The crowd shifted, tension electrifying the very air around them. She could almost hear Greg's heart racing beside her. What do you mean, we need to talk? I isn't a bit late for that, Emily? Mrs. Patterson crossed her arms, her expression a blend of confusion and indignation. Actually, it's the perfect time, Greg retorted, stepping a little closer to Emily, becoming her shield. Emily is just being honest about her feelings, and that matters. His words hung in the air, a challenge that echoed through the gathering. Emily could see a few nods of approval from friends, but fear gripped her heart. What if Mrs. Patterson turned the tide against them? With a deep breath, Emily stepped forward, ready to face the mounting backlash. We're not trying to disrespect anyone's traditions. I just want our wedding to truly represent who Greg and I are, the love we've built, not just a show for everyone else. It's easy to say that when you've never put in the effort to create something beautiful, Mrs. Patterson shot back, her voice full of disdain. Creating beauty doesn't mean it has to fit into a box, Emily replied, her voice shaking slightly but brimming with passion. It means pouring our hearts into it. For a moment, silence enveloped the hall once more. Eyes darted between Emily, Greg, and Mrs. Patterson. The collective tension built like a drum roll leading up to something big. Finally, Lisa stepped forward. She had been quiet, but now her vulnerability had transformed into protective instinct. This isn't just about the wedding, it's about my daughter finding her voice, she said, glancing at Emily with pride. And I want to support that. Mrs. Patterson's brow furrowed, her indignation clearly wavering. So you're okay with this? With everything being turned upside down? It's not an upheaval, it's an evolution, Lisa replied, her voice steady. Sometimes we have to redefine what love looks like as we grow. I've realized I want to celebrate my daughter's journey, not stifle it. The crowd murmured, a mix of surprise and contemplation. Emily watched as some began to nod in understanding. It was as if a curtain had lifted slightly, allowing for a sliver of daylight to seep in. Greg took Emily's hand, grounding her even as she felt the weight of the moment shift. This day is about choices about love and respect. We invite you to celebrate with us, so we can create something beautiful together. Mrs. Patterson stared, a mixture of uncertainty and begrudging respect crossing her face. The battle lines were blurring, and Emily could sense it. This was their chance to transform discomfort into unity. Love shouldn't be a performance. It's messy, real, and sometimes it forces us to step outside our comfort zones, Emily declared, her heart pounding with courage. If you can embrace that with us, we'd love to have you on our side. As the murmurs swelled in the room, some voices chiming in agreement, Emily felt as though she stood on a precipice. Would this moment breathe new life into her hopes or push them further away? Then she noticed Lisa's expression shifted again, another wave of realization washing over her, signaling that the conversation was far from over. Maybe, Lisa hesitated, before glancing at Emily. We can meet halfway. Emily's heart fluttered immediately at the faint glimmer of possibility. What would that halfway mean? What new traditions could they weave together? But just as Emily's hope soared, the door swung open behind them, and in walked someone unexpected. The crowd fell silent once more, eyes wide with anticipation. "Sorry I'm late," the newcomer exclaimed, breathless. "I have something to say that changes everything." Tension crackled again, and Emily's stomach dropped. What now? As the last thread of calm unraveled, she realized this moment was only the beginning. The newcomer stepped into the room with an air of urgency that rippled through the gathering. Emily squinted, trying to identify the figure against the backdrop of curious stares. It was Samantha, an old friend from college, her hair slightly disheveled and her cheeks flushed. "What are you doing here?" Emily barely contained her surprise. They hadn't spoken in a while, and the tension in the air made her wonder what brought her here now. "I just needed to talk to you." "Like now?" Samantha glanced around, assessing the crowd. "This may not be the best time, but I couldn't wait any longer." "Is everything okay?" Greg asked, concern etched on his face. He squeezed Emily's hand tighter, as though hoping to shield her from whatever was coming. Samantha took a deep breath, scanning the room once more before continuing. "I just got off the phone with someone from your family, Emily. They told me something that changes everything." Emily's heart raced. What could possibly shake the ground beneath her feet at this moment? The room buzzed with confused whispers as the crowd leaned in, eager for the revelation. "What is it?" Emily managed, her voice steady despite the rising panic within her. She shot a quick look at Mrs. Patterson, who appeared caught up in the unfolding drama, face frozen in disbelief. Samantha hesitated, eyes darting nervously, before she spoke again. "Someone from your past reached out. They want to come to the wedding." The collective gasp was palpable, as if a wave had crashed over everyone. Emily felt time slow as her thoughts tangled. Memories, both bitter and sweet, flooded her mind. Was it who she thought it was? "Who?" Lisa spoke up, her protective instinct resurfacing. Greg's grip on Emily's hand tightened. "It's your father," Samantha blurted out, her voice trembling. "He has been trying to get in touch with you. He wants to apologize for everything." Emily's heart skipped a beat. The very idea of her father showing up sent shards of conflicting emotions racing through her. Joy, anger, confusion, and fear mingled in her chest like a chaotic storm. "He wants to come?" She couldn't believe what she was hearing. "Yes." Samantha nodded, her enthusiasm dimming as she noticed Emily's reaction. "He didn't specifically say he'd show up, but he's trying to reach out. I thought you should know. It could change everything." A collective breath seemed to hold in the room as Greg's eyes widened. "Emily, do you want him there?" The question lingered heavy in the air. It wasn't just about her. It was about Greg, their friends, and an entire wedding built on love and acceptance. Could she allow someone who had hurt her deeply back into her life, especially now? The tension in the room was thick enough to cut, filled with unvoiced worries and unspoken hopes. Emily's thoughts danced between dread and the flicker of possibility. What if he comes and tries to ruin everything? Emily asked, staring at the floor. Or what if he surprises you? Greg suggested softly. What if this is your chance to find out if he has changed? A part of her wanted to scream, to push everything away and shield herself from the past. But another part longed for closure for understanding. Samantha took a step forward, her eyes pleading. Whatever you decide, we're with you. You deserve to choose what this moment means for you. Emily inhaled deeply, a mix of hope and trepidation coiling within her. Could she embrace the unknown and find strength in the choice ahead? As the weight of the decision loomed over her, the room remained silent, all eyes on Emily. Would she take the leap and open the door to the past, or would she let it remain shut, forever sealed? The answer felt like a ticking clock, counting down to a moment that could redefine everything. But which path would she dare to choose? Emily's mind raced, her heart pounding in her chest as she processed the whirlwind of emotions gathering like storm clouds inside her. The room felt stifling, the air thick with anticipation and uncertainty. Everyone's eyes were fixed on her, waiting, hoping for a sign, a decision that could shape not just her life, but the very fabric of their shared world. I don't know, Emily stammered, the words tumbling from her lips as doubt clawed at her. She felt like she was standing on a precipice, looking down into an abyss of possibilities, each one darker than the last, and yet, within that darkness, flickers of light. What do you mean you don't know? Lisa challenged, her voice sharp but laced with concern. Emily, this is your chance. You could finally get the answers you deserve. But what if he hasn't changed? She replied, her voice barely above a whisper. What if he just comes back and breaks everything I've built? Greg's grip on her hand tightened further, and the warmth of his touch anchored her amidst her swirling emotions. Emily, you don't have to decide right this second. Talk to him. Find out what he wants. Samantha stepped closer, her expression earnest. I know this feels heavy, but think about it. If he is reaching out now, it might be because he truly regrets everything. Don't you want to know? The words hung in the air, a delicate question whispered among what felt like a cacophony of doubt. Emily could see their concern etched on every face, the friends who had stood by her, the family she had chosen. She envisioned herself in that moment, sitting across from her father, the man who had influenced so much of her life from a distance, and not always in a good way. I don't even know him anymore, she breathed, feeling tears pricking at the corners of her eyes. What if I build a life without him for a reason? Maybe that's what scares you the most, Greg ventured gently, his voice a lifeline through the chaos. He has part of your past, but you have the power to decide what role he plays in your future. Emily nodded slowly, tears threatening to spill down her cheeks. Could she face that truth? Could she face him? There were moments when she wished for that little girl's long-lost connection, the one who dreamed of her dad coming to her baseball games and school recitals. Then there were moments filled with frustration at his absence, the nagging feeling that she had lost something vital. Emily, whatever you decide, we've got your back, Lisa reassured her, placing a comforting hand on her shoulder. You're not alone in this. The warmth of her friend's support enveloped her, giving her the strength she needed to confront the past she had tried to leave buried. What if I say yes to this? She murmured, addressing Greg, her heart racing at the mere thought. What if it opens up wounds I'm not ready to face? Or what if it heals you? Greg countered, looking straight into her eyes with unwavering trust. You have the chance to write a new chapter, Emily. The choice is yours. A silence enveloped the room, stretching on as the clock on the wall ticked away. Emily could feel the weight of decision pressing down on her. Behind her was everything she had known and taken comfort in. Ahead was the unknown, filled with both fear and the glimmer of hope. With her heart in her throat, she took a deep breath as she prepared to make a choice that would either open a door she had closed long ago or leave it shut forever. What if I want to talk to him first? Just not at the wedding. She looked around, feeling empowered as she spoke. I need to feel this out. A collective sigh of relief rippled through the room, a shared sense of understanding and support. Okay, let us figure this out together, Greg said, nodding. One step at a time. But even as she grasped their support, the question nagged at her. Would this truly lead to healing, or would it become another heartbreak waiting to happen? As uncertainty loomed, she felt that first flicker of resolve ignite. It was time to rewrite her story. But would she be ready for whatever revelations awaited her? Emily sat on the edge of her bed, feeling the weight of the world resting heavily on her shoulders. The soft humming of the wedding preparations filtered through the thin walls, the sounds of laughter and chatter mingling with her racing thoughts. She glanced out the window, seeking solace in the distant trees swaying gently in the summer breeze, but it offered little comfort. The room was filled with familiar scents, the lavender from her hidden stash of essential oils, a hint of vanilla from the candle she lit in moments of reflection. She picked up her phone, the screen lighting up with a series of messages from her friends, encouraging and supportive, even as she felt like she was about to dive into uncharted waters. "Emily, just remember you're the one in control," Lisa had texted. "You get to set the pace." There was truth in those words, but also a heaviness that came from knowing she had to face her father. A man who had become a ghost in her childhood, now materializing again like a shadow she didn't know how to confront. Taking a deep breath, she decided to draft a message. She wanted to set a clear boundary. As her fingers danced over the keyboard, she wrote, "Let us meet somewhere neutral. I need time to gather my thoughts." It felt oddly liberating to dictate the terms. After sending it, she felt a flicker of her old self returning, the confident girl who used to stand tall in gym class. Even when she felt small inside, a knock interrupted her reverie. Greg peeked inside, a reassuring smile on his face. "Hey, you okay?" He leaned casually against the doorframe, but his eyes betrayed a deeper concern. "Yeah, just sorting things out in my head, trying to make sense of everything." Emily forced a smile, but it felt as fragile as glass. "You don't need to carry this burden alone. I'm here, every step of the way." His sincerity wrapped around her like a warm blanket. "We can even go grab some ice cream. You know, an emergency dessert mission." It was exactly what she needed, a moment of normalcy amidst the chaos. "That sounds perfect," she replied, feeling a swell of gratitude for his unwavering presence as they strolled down the street. The sun dipping low on the horizon, Emily found herself laughing at Greg's lighthearted jokes. It brought a momentary distraction, but as they reached the ice cream shop, a familiar face caught her eye. Across the street stood Lisa, waving enthusiastically. But beside her was a figure she hadn't expected to see. Her father. The tidal wave of emotions crashed over her as dread filled her stomach. Greg noticed her hesitation, and his expression softened. "Emily, what's wrong?" Her heart raced as she watched Lisa stride toward her and the man she had yearned to understand. Memories flashed before her eyes, the empty seat at her graduation, the absence during her birthdays. She felt restless, suspended between worlds. "Hey, can we just," she stammered, looking up at Greg, searching for reassurance. "I need a moment." With a nod, he stepped back, a silent protector on her journey. Emily approached her father with a mixture of longing and trepidation. Every step felt like a weight added to the emotional backpack she had been carrying for years. "Dad," she said, her voice stronger than she felt. "What are you doing here?" His face, weathered with age and regrets, lit up with an emotion she could not quite decipher. "I wanted to see you before the wedding." His voice wavered, betraying a nervousness that completely disarmed her. In that moment, Emily understood this was not just about him. This meeting could change everything for better or for worse. She had thought she was ready, but as the evening chill approached, she felt the fierce grip of uncertainty clutching her heart once again. Could this be the moment she realized answers were not always what they seemed? "Let us talk, then," she replied, her voice firm. But deep inside, she couldn't help but wonder what truths lay concealed behind the door she was about to open. The air was heavy with anticipation as Emily stood before her father. The light that filtered through the fading sun illuminated the lines on his face, each one a testament to time lost. An awkward silence hung over them, stretching longer than either had anticipated. Finally, she found the words buried under layers of hurt and expectation. "Why now?" she asked, her voice trembling slightly. "After all these years, why today?" He shifted, caught off guard by her straightforwardness. "I know I haven't been there. "I just want to apologize," he said, the sincerity in his tone pulling her closer, yet pushing her away. The emotions roiled inside her, a mixture of bitterness and longing, and she fought against them. "An apology doesn't fix everything." She shot back, her heart racing. "Why should I believe you now?" His shoulders slumped forward under the weight of her words, and for a moment, she felt a flicker of sympathy for the man who had left her life so abruptly all those years ago. Yet, it was quickly buried under the pain of his absence. "I understand," he replied, his voice softer. "I don't expect you to. I just thought maybe I could make some things right." Emily glanced over to where Greg stood, a solid anchor across the street. He was watching with those comforting eyes, the gentle smile he reserved for moments like these. It reminded her that she was not alone, that she didn't have to navigate this uncharted territory without support. Right? A wedding is happening, and here where she gestured between them, her facade of indifference cracking, like it's been some normal conversation. "Can you give me a chance?" he asked, stepping closer, breaking the invisible barrier. Just one honest conversation. Her heart quickened. What did it mean to offer forgiveness? Was she ready to dive into the depth of feelings she had buried for so long? The thought was dizzying. "Fine," she said, determined but scared, "but don't think this changes everything." His nod was grave, almost like a promise. "Thank you," he breathed, relief washing over his features, but she was not sure what he was thankful for. Was it his hope for a better future, or the chance to face the ghosts of his past? They found a bench nearby, and she sat there, palms pressed against her knees, almost as if she was holding on to her own emotions. He took a seat beside her, and it struck her how small and fragile the moment felt. "I've missed so much," he started, his voice breaking like it had before. "I can't change that, but I want to be here now for you." Hearing those words was like a door creaking open, an invitation to share the suffocating burdens they both carried. She opened her mouth to respond, but the questions began to swirl in her mind. Could she trust him? What if he vanished again? Greg's figure loomed in her peripheral vision, a reminder of the life she had built around the absence of this man. And yet, there was an inkling of hope seeping through the cracks of her anguish, whispering that maybe, just maybe, this was a chance for something new. Then, abruptly, the street erupted with sounds of celebration from nearby party-goers, laughter mingling with joyous music that cut through the tension like a knife. The contrast felt jarring, as if the world around her was moving on while she was still tangled in a web of emotions. "Emily?" her father prompted gently, pulling her back to the moment. "Are you willing to listen?" A lump formed in her throat. Could she forgive him? Could they rebuild? Every question left a mark on her heart, and as she nodded hesitantly, the world faded away, leaving just the two of them poised on the threshold of a life-altering conversation. But as her father began to speak, she felt a chill crawl up her spine. What if the past hid darker secrets than she ever imagined? "Before we begin, there is something I need to tell you," he said, his voice low and shaky, as if he were stepping gingerly on fragile ground. In that moment, Emily knew they were about to uncover something that could forever change their lives, both of them caught as unwilling players in a story too complicated for mere words to encapsulate. Emily sat, heart pounding, a mix of anticipation and dread swirling inside her. The vibrant noises from the party mingled with the quiet seriousness of this moment. It was a collision of worlds, the joyous celebration of a wedding and the weight of a long-fractured relationship. She could feel her father's eyes on her, filled with the yearning he and T expressed in years. "Emily, I've had a lot of time to think," he began, his voice trembling slightly. "I walked away from you and your mother when you were too young to understand, and I made mistakes. I'm sorry." This was no ordinary apology. It carried the burden of years lost, memories unmade. She wanted to be angry. "You can't just say that and expect everything to fall into place," she replied, her voice steady but edged with pain. "I know. I can't take it back," he replied, letting out a pained sigh. "But I want to be part of your life, even if it's late. You deserve that." The air shifted between them, heavy with unshed tears and spoken frustrations. Emily felt close to breaking, but held back. What do you mean you want to be part of my life? Are you saying you're ready to stay this time? Or is this just another fleeting moment? I've been in therapy, he admitted, the words feeling like a confession. Trying to understand why I ran and what I lost. I want to be different to actually show up this time. As she took the weight of this admission, a spark of hope flickered inside her. Could he really mean it? But doubt tugged at her heart, gnawing at optimism. That's all well and good, she said, her voice flickering like a flame in the wind. But what if you leave again? How do I know I'm not just opening a door to be hurt again? You don't, Emily, he said softly, his expression sincere. But I promise to try, and if it means I have to face my own demons, then I will. I'll be here for you. I want to disappear again. The crowd outside erupted with laughter, the cheerful spirit almost mocking the heaviness of their conversation. She could see Greg through the throng, his warm smile and gentle encouragement instilling courage into her core. This was her decision, her life. Look, she said, feeling the floodgates threatening to open. All I ever wanted is for you to see me, to be there when it mattered. I don't want this to just be about what you need. I don't want pity or promises that will crumble. I want to feel safe. I understand, he replied, sincerity etched into every line of his face. And safety starts with trust. I get that. Emily felt her chest constrict, the reality of their conversation weighing down on her shoulders. With every word, a crystal-clear vision blinked in a focus of reality where love encompassed imperfection, healing, and the raw, messy truth of their shared past. Just as she found the courage to voice her truth, the sound of the crowd outside broke through. Emily, it's time to start, one of her friends announced, buoyant. The sudden cheer sent a wave of nostalgia and warmth through her body. This wedding was about love, her new life with Greg, and now, potentially, the chance to redefine her connection with her father. Maybe we start here, Emily said, her heart softening with resolve. You can come to the wedding and be in my life. We take this step together, but it's on you to show me that you mean it. His eyes glistened with emotion, and the corners of his mouth lifted. Thank you, he whispered, not just for the invitation, but for a second chance. As Emily stood, he took a deep breath, finally fully present, not just a ghost from her past, but a man willing to fight for his role in her future. With a final look of determination and possibility in her heart, she took his hand, and together they walked towards the celebration. As they emerged from the shadows into the light, they stepped delicately over the threshold of possibility, a dance of hope in a familiar, yet foreign space. The warmth of music and laughter enveloped them. Emily glanced at Greg, who smiled as if he had seen the journey through her eyes. Her heart raced with excitement, longing not only for love, but for the balance of reconnection. Are you ready? Greg asked, a sparkle of anticipation lighting his eyes. Yes, she whispered, conviction buzzing beneath her skin. With her father at her side, they entered the bright hall filled with loved ones. A tapestry of memories was waiting to be woven anew, and Emily felt a profound sense of relief and warmth in that moment. Beneath the glimmering lights, she resolved to embrace the love around her, whether it came from family, friends, or this new sense of trust in herself. It was the dawn of a new story, bound by hope and resilience, and fueled by the innate desire for love that transcended the years. Let us celebrate what really matters, her father said, glancing at her with a familiar warmth, and Emily felt a rush of gratitude for taking this chance, a chance for a new beginning. As they stepped forward together, hand in hand, integration of family grew brighter in her vision. The past didn't have to dictate what love looked like today. In that spirit of connection, love began to unravel, revealing a path towards healing that glimmered like stars against the night sky, promising each of them a home within their hearts. Now, here's the part where you need to subscribe now to keep up with all my exclusive stories. Hit that like button immediately to show your support. Don't wait, not even one more second. Comment below your feelings about this ending and share this video with at least 5 friends who need to witness this incredible transformation. This is the moment to spread the love.